This is a corporate company profile for our company. The name of our company is a Pantas Consultant. This is a person who are fully responsible for any activities in this company, which is Miss ALLEYZA HAZLIANA, our Managing Director. We also has Miss Fatin Nursyazwani as our admin, and not just that, we also had a NURDASTIE as a site supervisor and Miss NURUL ATIKA as our safety officer. This is our project. This is a Salford House. Salford House is a historical building located in Georgetown, Penang, Malaysia. It is one of the oldest surviving Anglo-Indian building in the Southeast Asia and hold a great historical significance in the region. Salford House as the architectural style influenced by a Georgian and Regency design, which were popular during British colonial period. So this is a two-story structure with a veranda and a high ceiling, and a characteristic of colonial era since it play a pivot role in the history of Penang and British colonial rule in Malaysia. So it served as a center of administrative and social activities during Captain Light time and was used as the residence of subsequent governor. Over the year, Salford House fell into disrepair and nearly demolished in the 1950. However, in the 1990, a restoration project was initiated to preserve and restore the building to a former glory. So it was a meticulous renovate and the original architectural feature was maintained wherever possible. And now, Salford House will serve as a heritage museum, restaurant and an event space. So the building house, a museum showcase, artifact and a exhibits relate to Penang colonial history, and the restaurant is become a popular venue to a wedding, private function and a corporate event due its as a historical ambience and picture square surrounding. So now Salford House stands as a testament to the rich heritage and colonial historical in Malaysia. So attracting both local and tourist interest in experiencing its historical charms.
So, we have done a restoration project for Salford House, and the restoration project that have been done as below. Firstly, we conduct an inspection on structural element including roof. Next, we also did a restoration on the exterior and interior design of the Salford House, but still keep it heritage value. Beside that, we changed the finishes material that has been broken but still use the same material and also design. Lastly, our company also changed the system, such as upgrading the electrical system and also taking care of the landscape.
This part is a process for risk management. There are 6 processes in this to manage a risk. First, a risk identification. Second, risk assessment. Third, risk analysis. Fourth, risk evaluation. Fifth, risk treatment. And the number 6 is a risk monitoring and review. In risk identification, we need to identify any potential risk that could affect a project or organization or individual. So it is important to consider both the internal or external factor that could lead any adverse outcome. In risk assessment, once the risks are identified, they need to assess in terms of their likelihood of occurrence and potential impact. So this evaluation will help prioritize risks and determine which one is required the most attention and resources. The third, we do a risk analysis. In this step, a risk are analyzed in more detail to understand their causes, consequence and potential to correlation. So this information enable a better understanding of the nature and characteristic of each risk. Number 4 is the risk evaluation. So the risk will evaluate based on the predefined criteria such as a level of acceptability and tolerability. Not just that, the cost benefits analysis and a legal or regulator should be in this level. This evaluation will help determine which risks could be treated first and which can be accepted. Number 5 is a risk treatment. So the risk treatment will involving the developing and implementing a strategies to address the identified risk. So there are 4 primary strategies for this risk treatment, which is the first is avoidance, second mitigation, third is transfer, and fourth is acceptance. The last one is risk monitoring and review. Once the risk treatments are implemented, ongoing monitoring is necessary to track either the change in the risk environment, reassess risk, and ensure that the implemented measure remain effective.
Next, there are 6 ways how we identify and classify the risk, which is through brainstorming, interview, workshop for employee, comparison with the other organization, questionnaire, and also by analysis of process. As you can see below, there are 4 steps to analyze the risk. Firstly, we have to know about the assessment of severity, through assessment of likelihood, know about the action for the risk level, and the last one is the risk metric. All these are important to get the exact risk classification, either it is dangerous or not. So now, let's take a look on the hierarchy of control. What is hierarchy of control? The hierarchy of control is a method used to keep people safe in the workplace by addressing hazard in a specific order. It provides a clear guideline for managing risk and safeguarding workers. A control measure that is higher on the hierarchy is often more effective as the risk is reduced or close to the source. The control measures in the hierarchy are not to be taken as isolated or single solution. Generally, it is more effective to use a combination of control measures. For example, engineering control work better with administrative controls like training and safe work procedure. There are 9 construction activities have been identified for the development of hierarchy under this section. These 9 construction activities are identified as common activity for the purpose of developing hierarchy for construction project. So these activities are site preparation activity, excavation activity, piling activity, concreting activity, structural steel activity, structural activity, demolition activity, architectural activity, and the last one is mechanical and electrical activity.
So this is a part which is a work activities. There are 6 work activities. First, site preparation work and scaffolding work. Second, demolition works. Third, architectural works activities. Fourth, mechanical and electrical activities. Fifth, a landscape and external works. And the number 6 is a traffic and pedestrian management. For each of these activities, they have their own sub-activities. For example, for the site preparation works and scaffolding, they have a survey works, clearing a site, and also monitor any mobilization in this site. For demolition works, they will have a mechanical demolition. Architectural work, they have to consider a ceiling, a wall, a column, and everything. For the traffic and pedestrian management, they have to installing any signage or barrier, and also they have to know or identify the limited access and ingress.
Okay, for the incident overview, which is structure failure. In this case, a structure failure occurred indicating that a portion of the first floor was not able to support its own weight or withstand the stress it was subjected to. The collapse of section of the first floor could have resulted from various factors such as weakened or deteriorated material, inadequate support, design flaw, or unexpected structure issue. This issue might have been present before the restoration project began, but they were only revealed or executed during the construction process.
Hi, now I will explain about emergency preparedness. So here are the summary of risk assessment and identification. From this summary, we have work activity, potential hazard, risk rating, and risk classification. There has 4 potential hazard in deliverable 2, which is the work activity is floor collapse. So the potential hazard is personal injury, fatality, destruction of utilities, environmental contamination, and falling object. From these 5 potential hazards, they got 4 risks of classification who got the high risk and the medium risk. The medium risk is from environmental contamination, which is only 12, and the rest they got highest or high risk classification, which is 16 to 20. Now we will move to emergency response planning. The first one is establish a team that is responsible for managing and coordinating emergency response activities. Second one, define roles and responsibility of the ERT's member and establish communication protocols. 3. We need to develop an emergency response plan that outlines step by step the procedure of responding to the emergency scenario. 4. We need to identify evacuation routes, assembly points, and emergency exits to ensure the safe evacuation of personnel. 5. We need to establish a procedure for notifying emergency services and contacting relevant authorities during emergencies. And the second last, we need to conduct regular drilling and exercises.
The emergency response procedure is divided into 3 sections, which is first, emergency communication. Emergency communication play a critical role in emergency response procedure. It ensures the rapid dissemination of information to relevant stakeholders, facilitate coordinated action, and help minimize the impact of emergency. The second is emergency evacuation. It's depending on the particular emergency and the location. Different emergency evacuation protocols are used. And the last one is emergency response team. Emergency response team procedure can vary depending on the organization and the specific nature of the emergency. However, there are some common steps and considerations that are typically involved in emergency response procedure. So, this is the 7th type of emergency communication, which is communication channel, emergency notification system, command center, reporting of incident, interagency communication, standardized communication protocol, and the last is training and drill. Okay, next for the emergency evacuation is stay calm, alert others, follow instruction, evacuation route, leave belonging, help others, and proceed to safe area. Besides that, for the emergency team is recognition and assessment, activate the emergency response plan, communication and notification, mobilize resource, assess and manage risk, monitor and evaluate, and last one, recovery and debriefing.
Next, we move to incident reporting and investigation. We have 5 incident reporting procedure. The first one is we need to immediate response to an incident. Second procedure is report immediately to OHS coordinator. 3. We need to incident documentation and investigation. 4. Implementation of risk control measure within corrective action plan. And the last one is follow up to ensure that implemented risk control measures are effective. So now we move to root cause analysis report. From this root cause analysis report, there has 4 sections. The first section is the individual completed report. Second section is problem statement. Third section is root cause identification. And fourth section is the proposed plan action. So for the individual completed report, there's the name of reporter and the date. Second is the problem statement, which is the flow collapse. So from the section C, there has 3 steps. The first is the aim of this report, which is to conduct root cause analysis of the flow collapse. Step 2 is the tools that you use to make this report. We use the fishbone diagram. So the third step is to analyze the possible causes, which is the inadequate design, excessive loss, and poor quality material. And D, the section of D is the proposed plan action, which is the action that you need to take from the possible causes that you state at the step 3. So the area of concern of root causes that we need to focus is design and construction phase, design and construction practice, load management, and material quality and construction standard. That's all from me. And for the D section is the proposed plan action that you need to do for the possible causes that is step you state at the step 3. So the area of your concern is design and construction practice, load management, and lastly material quality and construction standard. That's all from me. Thank you.